Hello everyone. So in this video, we are from Group 1. We would like to present our presentation about intro to linguistics, which is the macro and micro linguistics. But before that, let us introduce ourselves. The first one is me. My name is Nimade Dwi Absarikori with student ID 22120210048 and my friend.
My name is Gede Krishna Widya Dharma with student ID number 221-202-1120. And my friend,
My name is Pasyarafi Kurniansyah with the student number 221-0202-11 and 80. And the last one is my friend.
And my name is Kade Satria Prayoga with student ID 2212021187.
All right, so without any further ado, let's get started. Well, before we dig deeper into macro and micro linguistic, it's important to know what linguistic is. So basically, linguistic is the scientific study of language. Linguistic include the rules, systems, and principles of human languages. And by learning linguistic, it gives a better understanding of the nature of human languages. And based on its scope and levels, Nicholas in 1988 said that linguistic is divided into two, which are macrolinguistic and microlinguistic. Macrolinguistic and microlinguistic. All right, so the first one is macrolinguistic. Macrolinguistic is the study of linguistics at a broader level. Macrolinguistic concerned with the way languages are acquired, stored in the brain, and used for various functions. It also concerns the interdependence of language and culture, and psychological mechanism that involve in language behavior. And in contrast, microlinguistic is the study of linguistic or language in more specific and particular way. Microlinguistic concern itself with the study of language system in the abstract, without regard to the meaning or national content of linguistic expression. And then, as you can see here, that linguistic have two branches, which is microlinguistic and macrolinguistic. And microlinguistic have a couple of branches, which is phonetics, phonology, morphology, semantic, pragmatics, and syntax. And then macrolinguistics also have two branches, which is interdisciplinary and intradisciplinary. The interdisciplinary macrolinguistics divided into social linguistic, psycholinguistic, neurolinguistic, stylistic, cognitive linguistic, geographical linguistic, and computational linguistic. And then the intradisciplinary of macrolinguistic is divided into applied linguistic, theoretical, historical, descriptive, and comparative linguistic. So next, the macrolinguistic, as I said previously, have two branches of macrolinguistic. There are interdisciplinary and intradisciplinary. Interdisciplinary macrolinguistic, it deals with linguistic in relation to other disciplines, and in which the other disciplines that have connection language study in any perspective, such as the relation about linguistic and social factors, the relation about linguistic and psychological and cognition, and etc. And the intradisciplinary of macrolinguistic, it deals with the study of linguistic within its own disciplines. Intradisciplinary macrolinguistic explore elements of language structure, the relationship between language form and meaning, language variation and change over time, as well as issues of language use in daily communication in various social and cultural contexts. All right, so next, for the interdisciplinary macrolinguistic will be explained by my friend Krishna. Krishna, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dwi. So I will continue the material. So in this interdisciplinary, there is 7 parts of interdisciplinary. The first one is sociolinguistics. The sociolinguistics is the study of language in relation to social factors. Or the other definition is sociolinguistic is research that deals with sociological or social psychological phenomena, and which studies language use in society as a whole, including the study of language maintenance and language loss. For example, a study of the way language use differs among different generations in a particular community, the difference between Gen Z and millennial. Gen Z is most likely to say sup or what's up, and millennials are likely to say how are you rather than saying sup or what's up. Next. So the second part is psycholinguistics. Psycholinguistics is the study of the correlation between linguistic behavior and psychological processes thought to underline the behavior. The study of psycholinguistics is the mental processes that person uses in producing or understanding language and how humans learn language. Psycholinguistics includes the study of speech perception, the role of memory, concept, and other processes in language, and how social and psychological factors affect to use language. For example, psycholinguists might be conduct experiments to investigate how different factors, such as working memory or attention, impact understanding and inference during reading or listening. So the third is neurolinguistic. Neurolinguistics is the study of the function in the brain performed in language learning and language use. Neurolinguistic is include research into how the structure of the brain influences language learning, and which part of the brain's language is stored or see memory, and how damage to the brain affect the ability to use language. For example, neurolinguists might use functional imaging tools such as fMRI or EEG to monitor individuals' brain activity while reading or communicating to identify how different areas of the brain contribute to specific language tasks. And the fourth, we have stylistic. Stylistic is a branch of linguistics that studies the feature of situationally distinctive uses or varieties of language. The study of the variations in language which depend on the situation in which the language is used and how the effect the writer or speaker wishes to create on the reader or hearer. Although stylistic sometimes includes investigation of spoken language, it usually refers to the study of written language, including literary text. Stylistics is concerned with the choices that are available to writer and the reason why particular forms and expression are used rather than others. For example, stylicians may examine the use of metaphor, irony, or parallelism in poetry to explore how forms and meaning are related. So next we have cognitive linguistics. Cognitive linguistics is the study of interaction between language and cognition, also focusing on the language as an instrument for organizing, processing information. For example, cognitive linguists might explore how metaphors or perceptual experience shape the meaning of words, or how cognitive processes, including attention and memory, influence language comprehension. And the sixth, we have geographical linguistics. Geographical linguistics is the study of language and dialects in terms of their regional distribution. Also called dialect geography is the study of local regional variation of a language or dialect. Study as a field of knowledge. Language geography uh, is the branch of human geography that studies the geographic distribution of language or its constituent elements. For example, geolinguists may research how social, economic, and historical factors impacted the development of specific language features in particular regions. And in the last, we have computational linguistics. Computational linguistics is the scientific study of language from a computational perspective. Computational linguistics also include computer system for understanding and generating natural language. In this volume, we shall be particularly interested in the structure, uh, such system and the design of algorithms for the various components of such system. For example, computational linguists may develop algorithms or models that can be used to automate certain aspects of language tasks or generate written or spoken language. And the next material will be continued by my friend Rafi. Rafi, times is yours.
So thank you, Krishna, for the occasion. Now, previously, the macro linguistics was divided by the two branches. The first one that was explained by Krishna is the interdisciplinary. Now, everyone, let me explain to you about the second branch. One is the interdisciplinary. So the interdisciplinary is divided by the five branches again. That the first one is applied linguistics. So the applied linguistics is a study of the language and linguistics in relation to practical problem factors, such as lexicography, translation, speech pathology, and etc. And for the example, is the one of example of applied linguistics is analysis of language in the workplace. For instance, a company may hire an applied linguist to conduct a language needs assessment to determine the language skills that are necessary for employees to perform their job duties effectively. And for the next slide. So can we go to the next slide? And the second one is the theoretical linguistics. The theoretical linguistics is a branch of linguistics that mostly concerns with developing models of linguistic knowledge. And the general principle for the study of all language and to determine the characteristics of human language as a phenomenon. The fields that are generally considered the core of theoretical linguistics are syntax, phonology, morphology, and semantics. And for the example, is identify and determining the basic construct common to all human language and developing models of language to present a compact and efficient explanation. And the third one is historical linguistics. Historical linguistics, it was also called the diachronic linguistics. This is the branch of linguistics that concerned with the study of phonological, grammatical, and semantic changes And in another hand, historical linguistics is a branch of linguistics that studies the development of why and how language and languages changing over time. The reconstruction of the earlier stage of language and the discovery and application of the methods by which genetic relationship amongst the language can be demonstrated. For the example, historical linguistics might not the linguistic type, but the linguist might investigate how the sounds of words have changed in different languages over time and use this data to reconstruct the sound system of the ancestral language. So we'll go to number 4 is the descriptive linguistics. The descriptive linguistics is also known as synchronic linguistics. Is the study of a language involved describing it at a particular point in time without recourse to historical information. In contrast, the diachronic study of a language involves describing its historical development through the time. In another hand, descriptive linguistics that concern with this description and analysis of the ways in which a language operates and its use by a given set of speakers at a given time. And for the example, the descriptive linguistics, not for linguistics, but the linguist may try to discover the rules of phonology, morphology, and syntax of another language, especially those with no written dictionary or grammar. And the last one is comparative linguistics. Comparative linguistics is the study of similarities and the difference between the language, in particular the comparison of related language with a view to constructing form in the last parent language. In another hand also, comparative linguistics is the study, it studies two or more languages in order to compare their structures and show whether they are similar or different. And for the example, the study of the Indo-European language family, comparative linguists investigate the similarities and the difference between these languages and use this data to reconstruct the features of the ancestral Indo-European language that was spoken 2,000 of years ago. And that's all for my explaining. And the next material, which is the microlinguistics, will be explained by my friend Satria. Now, Satria, it's your turn.
Okay, thank you, Rafi, for the occasion. So, previously we know that linguistic is divided into two. There is macro linguistic and micro linguistic. So I will explain to you about micro linguistic. So micro linguistic are divided into 6 branches. The first one is phonetic, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantic, and pragmatic. So without any further, let's get to the first branch. So phonetic is the scientific study of the physical property of speech sound. It generally studies the characteristic of speech sound. It deals with 3 functions. It's articulation, transmission, and reception of speech sound. For example, that how we sound the letter P with our lips, like this, like P. That's our lips touch to each other. So that's the phonetic we studied about. So we'll go to the next one. So the next one is phonology. So phonology is the study of how speech sound function in a language and the way speech sound are organized, and it examines sound as discrete, abstract element in the speaker's mind that distinguish meaning. For example of phonology is that the letter G is silent in sign, but is pronounced in the related word signature. And also the N in autumn and autumnal. So that are the study about phonology. And we will get to the next one. So the next one is morphology. So morphology is the study of the internal structure of word and of the rules by which word are formed is morphology. Morphology is the study of the formation and internal structure of word from smaller unit called morphemes. It might be seen as word grammar that divide words into morphemes. And for example, there is two kind of morphem. The first one is free morphemes. It can be divided like cat, pen, bag, the other. And the second one is bound morphem that can be divided further into chunks like unkind, it's un plus kind, flying, it's fly plus ing, fashionable, it's fashion and able, and the other. So that's the study about morphology, and we'll get to the next branch. So the fourth branch is syntax. Syntax is the part of grammar that represent a speaker knowledge of sentence and their structure. So for syntax, we will get to the example immediately. So this is the sample of sentence in syntax that the boy and the girl ate their tea. So in this sentence has a structure. It's concern noun phrase and verb phrase. For the noun phrase is the boy, the girl, their tea, and the verb phrase is it, and the word and as a conjunction. So syntax is a study about this kind of structure in a sentence. So we'll get to the next one. So the next one is semantic. So semantic is the study of linguistic meaning of morphemes, word, phrase, and sentence. For example, I will give you two words. The first one is destination. The second one is last stop. These two words technically mean the same thing, but students of semantic analyze their subtle shade of meaning. So these two words might be contain other meaning when used in the certain condition. So that is semantic. And we will get to the last one. So the last one is pragmatic. Pragmatic is the study of how context affect meaning. So for pragmatic, we'll get to the example immediately. I will explain you in the example. So for example of pragmatic, I will give you two sentences. The first sentence is Arnold Purnomo really liked it in Venice on December 11, 2016. There was a boat parade in the canals in Venice on December 12, 2016. An art festival will be held. The art festival on December 12, 2016 will be extremely fun. And the second one is, I really like it in Venice. Today, there was a boat parade in the canals here. Tomorrow, an art festival will be held. It will be extremely fun. So the difference between the sentence A and sentence B is really explicit. That the sentence A is using third person perspective and the sentence B is using first person perspective. So pragmatic is the role of pragmatic here is that pragmatic can shorter can make sentence shorter, but it technically means the same. So in this example, the sentence A and B is technically means the same thing, but the sentence B is more specific, more accurate, and more effective to use. So that is the pragmatic. So that's all about the 6 branches of microlinguistic. I will give the time back to the Dwi. Thank you very much.
All right, so that's all that our presentation for today's video. And thank you for watching this video. I hope you all can get a new information for our presentation. Thank you. Have a nice day.